A reading from the Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus put before them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed that someone took and sowed in his field. It is the smallest of all the seeds, but when it is grown, it is the greatest of shrubs and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and make nests in its branches. He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed in with 3 measures of flour until all of it was leavened. And Jesus told the crowds all these things in parables. Without a parable, he told them nothing. This was to fulfill what had been spoken through the prophet. I will open my mouth to speak in parables. I will proclaim what has been hidden from the foundation of the world. The word of the Lord. These parables come up so often, and in these sermon of the day videos, I feel like I'm pretty sure I've given a sermon of the day video on this exact reading at least 2 or 3 times already by now. And so you start to run out of things to say after a while. I've talked about faith the size of the mustard seed and how just the tiniest bit of faith, is all you need to change the world. And I've talked about the whole idea of leaven as being something disruptive in the story. To the Jewish people, leaven was something that was really disruptive and upended your world. And so a woman putting 3 portions of leavening in the flour was akin to Jesus coming in and disrupting everything for the Jewish people, changing their whole world and upending it so that it would never be the same again. I've said these things time and time again, but maybe the thing I haven't shared up to this point is a time in my life where I've seen this at work. So why not? When I think about the time that my faith was probably at its smallest, about the size of a mustard seed is what I would describe it as, was a time that I had been deeply hurt by something that would happen in the church, our very human institution of this church with this grand ideals of who we're called to be by Jesus, but yet run by very normal, frail, mortal human beings as we are. And I got hurt. I got let down, got disillusioned with the institutions of the church, and my faith was about at the smallest point as it could be, and was ready to walk away from this human institution of the church. And all credit in the world to my mother, who encouraged me to continue to go to church, and it encouraged me to say, like, even if you've almost given up faith, even if you don't think you have that much left, I want you to keep trying. And even though it was but the size of a mustard seed at that point, something implanted, and it grew, and I found my place in the world, and I found my place in the church, and you see what it turned into. So, I'm not trying to say that you all in your lowest point, that don't worry, you'll become a priest someday. But what I am suggesting is that Jesus can work wonders with even but the smallest bit of faith, if it's even all you have left. And like a little bit of yeast added into the flour, it can completely change the recipe forever. My life is completely different than it ever would have been if I had given up. And I'm thankful for the people that I had in my life that were there for me to encourage me to keep going, to keep trying and not give up. And that little bit that I had is what I needed to stay the course and keep going. And I hope, much like the plant that grows from the mustard seed and then provides shelter for birds to nest in its branches, I hope to be able to then support others so that when their faith is that small too, I can be a supportive structure for them so that they can grow. My hope is that you too may find that even in your lowest times of your faith, that it will see you through to growth and goodness, and that someday you can be there to support others in their lowest, smallest times of their faith as well. And in that way we support each other and we continue to grow. Amen.